Hi everyone, Three Men and a Whiskey, and if yesterday I watched a film about rich, prissy, stuck-up kids getting stranded at their boarding school at Christmas by their rich, unloving parents, it feels only natural that today I should watch the film that started the genre of movies about kids getting stranded in random locations at Christmas by their rich, unloving parents. It's time for Home Alone. The all-time classic that is Home Alone. It was made in 1990, 34 years ago now. I was a kid, I was 12 years old when this film came out, so I was absolutely in their target audience for it. But it's not just a film for kids, it's a film for big kids as well. And that's one of the reasons why it's had such lasting appeal. It is a true Christmas movie that checks so many of the boxes. It is hilarious, it is poignant, and it's as Christmassy as they come. It stars, as you all know, if you don't know, then I don't know what you've been doing for the last 34 years, but it stars Macaulay Culkin in what was his breakout role, which is insane in itself. Imagine having a breakout role when you're 10 years old. Joe Pesci, doing a really great comedy villain turn, and what else can be said? It's just an absolute timeless classic. I am reasonably confident going into this that it will not have dated or aged out or have suddenly become a bad film. I think I'd probably have to have a very cold heart to not still love this film like I did when I was a kid. But we'll see. We shall see. I am watching this Home Alone as as should be the tradition, I suppose. Not technically alone. My dog's here, but I'm not entirely sure she's fussed about watching it. But we'll see. We'll see. But what do I pair with it? Well, in the spirit of the movie, I have selected something that has been a little unloved on my shelf over the years, and not unloved because I don't care for it. I'm pretty sure the McAllister parents cared about their son. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what social services would say about it, but I'm pretty sure they did care about him. And so the whiskey that I'm going to drink is a Kavalan. Now, as you can see, there is no big bottle behind me, and that is because it's a tasting pack. And this tasting pack was given to me by one of my former bosses 5 years ago at Christmas. It was a Christmas present, and I was genuinely taken back when he gave it to me because I'd only been in the job for a couple of months. So either I had done something very right, or he was unbelievably generous. I think it was possibly the latter. But a really generous gift to give me, and it sat on my shelf not because I don't love it, but simply because I just couldn't bring myself to open it, or open any of the bottles in there, because it's a really great series of whiskies that are in there. It's the Kavalan Solist range. It's a tasting set from the Whisky Exchange. And if you don't know anything about Kavalan or Solist in particular, the Solist range is an award-winning limited range that Kavalan do. Kavalan is a Taiwanese distillery. I first came across them more than 10 years ago, certainly. They do a really great port finish in their standard range, in their core range, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But this is extra special because the Solist range is limited. It's called Solist because it's all about their single batch whiskies. They release these limited whiskies all the time as a part of this range. This is the Kavalan Solist range from 2010. And it contains a bourbon cask, a Fino sherry cask, and a Amontillado sherry cask, a port cask, a vino cask, and another sherry cask which was exclusively bottled for the Whisky Exchange. They are quite rare. They are pretty expensive to buy as well, so it's unlikely I'm ever going to see a full bottle of one of these on my shelves, which was another reason why I kind of held off opening these. But I figured, you know, as I'm about to watch a true Christmas classic, and as this set has been sat alone, gathering dust on my shelf, it felt only right that I should crack it open now. The one I'm going to have is the Amontillado, sherry cask one. I no particular reason why I picked that one. I just looked at them all and went, I want them all. Sadly, I cannot drink all of them in one go. That would be very bad of me. So I'm just going to have the one. But I am pretty sure once I crack this one open, the rest of them will follow over the course of the next couple of weeks over Christmas, as you know, as is the tradition. So I'm going to go and watch Home Alone with my dog, and drink my my Kavalan 2010, which I'm just opening up now, and yeah, catch you later. So I have finished Home Alone, and I have finished my Kavalan Solist, and what can I say? What a gem of a movie. An absolute peach of a film. It was so good. And again, 34 years old, and it's not really aged. You know, it's not dated really. Other than the fact that there's no mobile phones, which, you know, if they had existed back in 1990, then the movie probably wouldn't have lasted more than 30 seconds. But aside from that, it's an absolutely great film. It really is. And again, at the core of it all is Macaulay Culkin, right? And yeah, I mentioned it in the first part. The fact is that, look, there's loads of films with child leads and everything else in there, and it's really hard to make that work. But it's quite rare that you get a film where the child lead is expected to just be on screen alone for significant chunks of the film. You know, even if you think of something like Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland, you know, she's generally on screen with other people for the majority of it. It's remarkable. You know, for a 10-year-old, it's insane just how good Macaulay Culkin is in this film. He deserves so much respect, as obviously does the director and the crew behind it. But yeah, absolute shout out to I was going to say the young Macaulay Culkin. He's not that young anymore. I think he's only a couple of years younger than me. But at that time, legendary performance, and it really deserves a whole load of respect. The rest of the film is great. I had actually forgotten how late in the film it is that the hijinks start. You know, with the attempted break-in, and I just thought it was earlier in my weird brain, but that actually makes it better because you just get more of Macaulay Culkin trying to to live the life of Riley as an 8-year-old in his beautiful house without his family around. It's so well done. It's so poignant. It's so funny, and yeah, it's just that good. And John Candy, again, forget about John Candy. Every time I watch it, I seem to forget about John Candy. And there's always a lovely story, I know, with John Candy in that film, and the fact that he was paid only about $400 because he did it as a favour to John Hughes, the writer and producer, and he ad-libbed pretty much all of his lines, which, you know, when you're a genius comedian like him, I guess you can get away with that. So yeah, super film, and totally torn over what to give it in terms of a rating. You know, it's big. It's definitely at my highest scorer so far. Is it an 11 or is it a 12? And I think, yeah, I think it's 12. I think I've got to do it. I think I've got to give it the perfect score because it is that good. It's that wholesome. It's that lovely. It just, you know, I felt, you know, talked about not feeling very Christmassy a couple of days ago, but I've come away from this going, you know, just feeling, you know, happy. You know, it's just a lovely film, genuinely lovely film. So I'm going to give it 12 drummers drumming, the top marks possible. When I started this, I wasn't convinced I was going to find a perfect Christmas movie, but you know, I think I might have done. So there you go. The whiskey, that whiskey, that was worth the wait as well. 5 years since I got the tasting kit, and it's sublime. It's genuinely gorgeous. There's so much going on. It's an Amontillado, so you're seeing a lot more Amontillado sherry cask finishes these days. But I mean, this is five years ago, so I don't think I'd come across it then with anything else. So I think Kavalan have been a little bit ahead of the game with some of this stuff. And yeah, I mean, what I get from it, it's light but complex, I guess is one way I describe it. It's really easily drinkable. It's so smooth. I think I mentioned yesterday with the one I had, that one had quite a burn on it, and there's just nothing in terms of, but in a good way. It's very light from that perspective, but got a great complex feel on the tongue. Quite Christmassy. Again, I think a lot of that stuff coming through from from the sherry cask. Things like almost like cinnamony type notes there. Obviously, lots of those dried fruits again that you get with a kind of Christmassy type dram, and just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And if you if you've been a really good person at Christmas, then maybe Santa will deliver one of these. But I have to warn you, they're about, I think, 350, maybe 400 pounds a bottle for the Amontillado. There are other ones as well, obviously in the Solist range, which I'm looking forward now to trying the rest of them. But yeah, absolutely sublime. And to the extent that this is going to be a bit of a perfect day, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. It's that good a whiskey. It's phenomenal. And so there you have it. Shock horror. I've had the perfect Christmas day. And it's not even Christmas Day yet. A 10 out of 10 and a 12 out of 12. Who knew? So, join me tomorrow where I'll be watching another movie. I don't even remember what I'm watching now because I'm slightly in shock that I've just done that. And like, subscribe, the usual stuff. And see you soon.